If you can win on the court, then why can't you win in regards to your finances as well? Here's the truth no one told us when growing up. Financial education, it wasn't taught in school. And the price of not knowing it is everything. What we're going to share today is giving you the AI legacy blueprint, starting off the hidden money tour. I wish I had at 24, 34, even 44. And the blueprint I'm using to build my billionaire brand one day at a time in real time. My athletes, this is for you. As listen, if you grew up and loving the game of basketball, or if you grew up in learning business or in career, you deserve to know to win in your finances as well. But when you don't know what you don't know, and why this matters so much is understanding that, hey, I didn't handle your business right, and owning and started my own business in my at 24, but didn't handle that business right and didn't know the tax game. I didn't understand credit leverage. I didn't know systems, structure, legacy, the importance of keeping and building your brand. I knew hustle. I knew what work looked like. But I didn't know the money game. And it wasn't taught in schools. I was a scholar in schools, right? But when you fast forward now in my 40s, with decades of lessons, of failures, of redemptions, and God's timing, I'm building the AI legacy blueprint calculator, not just the tool and marketing it. So literally not wanting people to have the same mistakes as I had in regards to the building time for my own. So, but the things that people don't even talk about in regards to learning and loving what you do and traveling, pretty much knowing that each day and understanding that credit in business and marketing, it's all a tool. I watched my cousin played professional basketball. And, two of my cousins actually, one cousin played professional basketball, one cousin played professional football. And when I watched them, they trained, they worked hard, they traveled, they lived amazing lives. They did so much for our families and they did so much for themselves. And watching them obtain training at the highest level, just sitting inside of, I remember when Chris Bosh started in Toronto Raptors and just sitting in those rooms with billionaires and promoting our foundation to millionaires and helping build his brand. And when I worked with the Chris Bosh Foundation, the one thing that I could never talk about was money or systems or taxes or credit and legacy or generational wealth. Not because, I didn't want to talk about it. It was literally knowing that money was left on the table as an athlete, lots of it. But the timing and when and the how, we weren't just doing that. We were literally living day to day, enjoying the lights and enjoying the opportunities that, life provided at that time. But if we had the opportunity to know the impact of finances and education, that's the one thing that money that they just don't teach you that in school. And one thing I can say, with it being Thanksgiving holiday weekend and the lights and all the glitz and the glam that everyone has found it, the learning how important their financial literacy is in your upcoming, it's literally something that, it's a day by day thing. When you realize with life, I was remembering Thanksgiving being a couple of days ago, and I actually was working during Thanksgiving. Yesterday we had a virtual reunion, and what I decided to do as an athlete, because we have this mindset to win, is, Mom, I appreciate what you're doing, but right now we're going to work on this AI legacy blueprint. Even yesterday, I didn't want my mindset to go anywhere but, of course, loving my family, loving all the growth and the opportunities. But when I'm focused on something and trying to win, and there's so many ways that you can empower others with this financial blueprint. I was so focused on my finances, I woke up this morning drained. I woke up this morning, couldn't get out of the bed, wanting to hopefully make sure that everything went okay, making sure that the growth and the opportunities is okay. But when this actual financial opportunity would take off, this will help people hustle with the framework. Have people have a plan. Have people understand that each lesson that you go through in life, it's not always all about the win. It's honestly thinking about being ambitious. As an athlete, we think about the finish line. It's being a football type weekend. Our Detroit Lions lost on Thursday, but when you think about auditing and optimizing and automating finances, we think about winning the game, right? So when the mission is so simple, where you're shortening your learning curve and protecting your gains and understanding that each moment and design of the precision, these different mistakes that every entrepreneur has and athlete faces, it's hands down something that we can't control. So why am I focusing on athletes and entrepreneurs and why this matters so intently? Is because again, when you understand the five pain points every entrepreneur and athletes faced, is not understanding what we have right in front of us. Like we are so focused on winning that we lose sight on all the different things that can be in the midst of it. Athletes, we focus on the extension, we focus on not on revenue, not on money systems, not about what leaving on the table. That's why this project is so passionate for me. I was watching Dan Henry earlier today, and Dan Henry said, "You know what? Don't focus on selling a product. Focus on selling your brand." And when I look at the brand of Adrian Mays, being someone that come from here, I've been to the place where you had no money in your bank account to six fingers in my bank account. Who can I relate with in regards to helping people know that transforming athletes' money, you have to be the athlete and win in your own life. That's where it starts. So the five foundational mistakes that we actually as athletes and every entrepreneur faces is number one, these foundational mistakes. Having no money blueprint, having no roadmap, having no structure, just hustle and hope and confusion. There's so many ways to get your brand out there. And I was just relating with Unika Gaines, my business partner, the tax extraordinaire, and we're building this app, an opportunity for people so they can understand that, hey, you're not alone. And having over 50 years of collective experience between us both, you have the opportunity to understand these different finances. But setting the right foundation is just like relating it to a house being built, right? When you have the house and you build pour the concrete in, it's like trying to open the door with the keys before everything is actually settled, before time happens, before the windows are up, before the doors are up. So you have to have the right foundation to get you started, which leads you to number two, trust mistakes. Trusting people instead of the process, trusting the process and listening to everybody's advice instead of taking action and looking at the numbers that are presented in front of you. People, everyone has a different journey. It doesn't even matter if Adrian Mays, everything that I go through, and I give you a step-by-step plan, it may work for you, but it may not work for you. But the key thing is to take action and trusting the journey as well as the destination. Number three is growth mistakes, scaling without any kind of system. What is so beautiful, why I love this app so much, the AI Legacy Blueprint Master Calculator? It gives you a PDF printout right away that you don't even have to look at anybody else. AI, it allows you in the inputs, the numbers that have for your unique situation will actually output to have you scaling more or making more, but keeping more understanding of the process. You don't have to listen to anyone. One of the things that we understand in schools, a lot of this information is not taught in schools in regards to taxes and credit and how money works. But when you realize that when you build something to help other people understand the process, you don't have to feel like you're alone. No more guessing, no more leaving money on the table. It's all about literally setting up your sign to get to the next level, which goes to number four, learning from mistakes. Thinking you already should know this, right? It sometimes makes you kind of frustrated. It's like getting in the weight room and you get in the weight room and you see that you have these different levels of weights. You do a 5 pound weight, 10 pound weight, 20 pound weight, 30 pound weight, 50 pound weight. You can, do your curls or what have you, and trying to grab the 50 pound weight before you're actually ready and master the 10 pound weight. That's what happens when you don't have any type of structure or blueprint. So when you're learning from your mistakes and under thinking you already should know this, that's okay because again, number five, change is included with mistakes. These change mistakes happen, waiting too long, not adapting, thinking of tomorrow is guaranteed, understanding that this is how money leaks, this is how legacies die early, and this is how success feels heavy instead of freeing. So, what you understand is, again, knowing where your money is going, that takes time, that takes effort, that takes activity, that takes you be paying attention to your business. And even when I reflect back on when things were doing well, I saw a picture. Facebook is amazing for that, and shows you a picture from years ago during Thanksgiving holidays. We was in Dallas, Texas, enjoying it in our house at DeSoto, Texas, my cousin's house, and we were all there enjoying Thanksgiving dinner. And my mind reflected back there and just looked at the difference then 12 years ago to where we are now in 2025, and then where we could be in 37, which would be 12 years in the future. Every day is for a purpose. So when you look at the AI Legacy Hidden Money Tour, we'll reflect back on this day in 2025. We'll laugh at it and we'll see that, hey, that Adrian Mays, that AI cash story captain, AI wealth strategist, literally was giving you insights on what you can actually transform when you actually take action. So, number one, what the actual transformation looks like is you, number one, you understand where your money is going. You understand the leaks, the blind spots, the lost opportunities. When I was working with Chad GPT from the D, earlier today, trying to put up together the information to present here today, Chad was like, okay, what transformations, what do you want people to know about you in order to help people to relate with this app? So when I think about me being an athlete and going through the frustration of losing or the excitement of winning, when you understand number one where your money is going, those leaks, the blind spots, and the lost opportunities. When you understand number two how taxes really work, a lot of advertising, how have you, not the myth, but the strategy behind it, the turbo taxes and doing it yourself. If you're a W 2 worker or if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner, the IRS rewards business owners who know the rules. It's like stepping on the basketball court and saying, hey, go play the game. You put six people on the court and hey, that's not the rule. When you know the rules, the deductions, that's what helps with this calculator. Number three, knowing how to build credit and credit that works for you. Credit isn't bad. You know how we at first, I went through the different phases of credit, like having a 700 plus credit score, even having a 500 something credit score, and understanding when you have credit it's based on your financial blueprint. But credit is just like life. It's not against you, but it helps you when you to secure funding, to have homes, have expansion, have stability. And so in other words, when you have a varying credit plan, it's something that you have to take step by step, but we're providing now with this master calculator a solution that can work in regards to your own unique scenario. So inputting those dollar or those information allows you to see if it's going to work for you and how to get there. If not, if you may have some hip mishaps, that happens in life. Number four, how to build a wealth system, not just an income. Paychecks disappear. Money comes and goes, but systems, they scale. That's where legacy lasts. And so when you actually look at a system that you're building and taking it one day at a time, it's more so important. What up, though, Mark? I appreciate you showing the love, my friend. The one thing you got to make sure you pay attention to is wealth comes and goes. But when you look at family, that's something that lasts, right? Those mindset. I always say it in my business that education is one weapon that no one can take from you. But when you think about how education works, how we were taught for so long how things are supposed to go. For 18 years, we go to school, right? We go to elementary, we go to middle, then we go to high school. Then I remember going to high school and I was a part of the engineering program. I used to work at General Motors. And I was going back and forth to these internships, and I would look at the GM people, and I'm like, I don't want to be like those people. They didn't look happy. They didn't look insightful. And me being an athlete at a time was able to get a basketball scholarship, a full ride to Murray State University. And so I was like, electromechanical engineering. I remember my coach telling me, Adrian, that is too difficult for an athlete to go through. I was like, that's how we secure the bag is the mindset. I knew that at 18, but my coaches were trying to get me into going to no offense against communications majors, but to go into a communications major. But I was like, I put all these years, I've worked at GM. I'm going to keep going, which so that story makes me reflect to where I am right now. When I say billionaire brand, people look at me and laugh. I'm not trying to be the Elon Musk with the billionaires or the Rihannas and the Jay-Z's, which they're amazing. Don't get me wrong. The Adrian Mays billionaire looks right here with your mindset. It starts here in regards to how you grow. This AI legacy tour is not just about me teaching all these different AI tools. You'll see on my platform, that's what we do, but it's going to show each and every day evolving on what AI can do for you. So when you actually register to be a part of the legacy tour, it's not about me going to show you how AI works. There's a lot of people out here that can do that. What I'm going to show you is the transformation of what can happen to you when you actually can go through the process. Think about it like this. I remember when I first had to, run track. Track is so grueling sometimes, right? You can either become a sprinter or you can be a long distance runner. And depending on which track you take, it depends on what type of workout you had. So when I think about number five, the transformation that you learned here today is fixing the foundation so growth doesn't break you. I remember trying to go out the long way. Oh my gosh, distant runners, I respect you so much. But me being a sprinter, going over nothing over 800, which is a lot for me. But when I literally understand that wealth is structured the same way as track. Wealth can actually take you in two different mind ways. You can go out here and grind so hard for the money, making $2, $3 here, but time is your most valuable asset. And so if you don't protect your time, if you don't realize that your mindset is where the billionaire journey starts, I've already reached the billionaire opportunity, my friends. Wealth without structure is chaos. The blueprint stabilizes your future. The greatest thing about this actual calculator, I keep in my brain, it keeps going back to the Texas Instruments, the brand Texas Instruments TI-85. And when I was in the 11th grade, I remember our teachers at Renaissance High School and made us get, and I tell my business partner the story, but made us get this calculator, this graphing calculator, right? So you have this graphing calculator, we can put all of this data inside of it, but then the teachers would come and give us tests. And literally, therefore, all I got to do is input some numbers into the calculator, and the result is what I need to get on the test. No more looking in the back of the book. That ages me. But no more looking in the back of the book for the answers. I can literally use a calculator, type it in, and get the answer. And when I think about that, and I was when Unique and I were working on this master calculator, which goes through all these different levels of understanding taxes and credit and mortgages and business and nonprofits and mindset and health and life insurance and estate planning. All of these different factors are what we should have been taught in school. I love trigonometry, I love anatomy and all the other status. But if we wanted to have sustainable wealth, what they taught us is how to actually grow and be a worker and under a system. So the number one mistake that entrepreneurs make is leaving money on the table. The wrong tax setup, the missed credits, the poor record keeping, the mismanaged credit, the overspending, no strategy, no real financial roadmap. And the AI Legacy Master Blueprint Calculator fixes all of those things, and it puts everything you should have learned in school right into one system so that you can actually grow and build with that. So when you look at all of the mistakes and the breakdown of how you can grow as an entrepreneur, what you can do is listen to the mistakes that other people have had, because every entrepreneur knows that, again, this is one of the loneliest sports in the world is being an entrepreneur. And I wanted to start with athletes because, again, when you don't know what you don't know, it's different. It's different when you actually have a plan to help you with where your direction that you're going into for growth. So I say all that to say, when I look back at my 20s and I look at the legacy on building the legacy on confusion, I didn't know numbers in my 20s. I didn't know my write-offs. I didn't know financial structure. And it cost me. It cost me people in regards to money and where I am now, where I could be, but where I'm trying to help myself as well as other people go as well. Number two, trust mistakes. Trusting people. I love everybody. People are gonna love you different. People are gonna train you different. You're going to listen to different information. The one thing I love about a calculator, it's not biased. It's not going to be based on whether or not your emotion is here or there. You put numbers into a system and it gives you an output. Instead of trusting people, we're trusting systems. And that's why I love AI so much as an AI wealth strategist. Because when a person comes to me and tells me what their situation is, what is your pain point? How can we get from A to B? How can we merge that gap and leverage it with AI? And looking at the data is how you win. And that delay is what cost me years of time, years of where I could have been. But that gets you to number three, the growth mistakes. Scaling too fast emotionally and too slow structurally, that doesn't work. Again, that's why I had to take the time this last 48 hours during the Thanksgiving break and focus on my goal. Love my family. I love Thanksgiving. I love even Christmas and the holidays. But right now, you can't outrun what you don't understand. And so when you have to and know that we're building something, it's like taking off work and wanting to see your whole house be built by itself. It doesn't work like that. You have to sacrifice. You have to put time in. Some people will understand and some people won't. But when you think about the learning mistakes, whenever I was in those rooms with the billionaires and the millionaires and they understood money, proximity does not equal mastery. Going through it, owning your accountability of your feelings and your situations leads you to understand that life is going to force you to change. You don't have to, the way that you change, you now have a solution in order to get there. Translating lessons into levers, numbers first, and putting processes next, then people. I love people. But right now, I know that the process of this launching this opportunity during the pre-launch opportunity is a once in a lifetime thing. So just like an athlete, puts the, they go and sign up to actually become a part of an actual event. If they're in the collegiate level, maybe they're recruited and they're actually a part of the actual team. If they're on the professional level, an athlete is actually again recruited. They make their decision and go with that team. But once they get on the team, you have to understand the process to win. So now, okay, we got this amazing blueprint master calculator built. Now we're at the second step. We're in the game, right? We're in a game. There's 4 quarters, and you have to every quarter know that there's different people that you have to connect. That's why this is a 32-day hidden tour of the actual blueprint. Then, when you actually get to the success, it's the nurturing process afterwards. It's not dropping the ball when you're in the game. So, again, you have to replace different opinions with instrumentation. You dashboards and KPIs and looking at how you can actually grow to make your money be the best as it could be. So I say all that to say, when you act within windows, knowing that failure is possible, you just really have to break down the fact that, hey, one day at a time, because God slowed me down. I can be honest. I literally would know, like, there's so many places I've traveled, 48 out of the 50 states, but traveled internationally. I used to be in Michigan only once a month. I'm traveling somewhere. That was my always my thing. But over the last 18 months, he slowed me down. He made me reflect on everything. The wins, the losses, the exhaustion, the happiness, the really to get in touch with my emotions and protecting my boundaries. And when I look at that and knowing that healing takes time, therapy takes time. It wasn't a fluke. It was my God's design that my on-call therapist Michael DeBose, he emailed me to or text me today and just to check in on me during the holidays type thing. But making it clear this project is not about me. This AI legacy blueprint, God rested me up to be able to allow me to help show people the impacts to not prevent others from pain, showing that what survival looks like. But survival, my friends, is only 24 hours at a time. Purpose, you have to have consistency in your purpose. And when the motive is services is direct, when you have the method that becomes systems that literally actually work for real people, my athletes, that's like the Pro Bowl is this weekend, right? So playing the game, not getting the win, but you still got to go out and give 100% in everything that you do. That's how this calculator is. It's a vehicle for stewardship. It teaches you the truth on how your situation is. It equips you for action. It creates freedom that it's not out there like other places. It's not hype, my friends. It's not a course. It's a practice, a measure, a learned adaptability, and it's a challenge for you to repeat over and over again. So the key thing is knowing that clarity takes time and complexity, making things simple. I was literally, posting today earlier on my business partner Unica Gaines, the tax extraordinaire, on her page, keeping it simple, making complex tactics as simple as possible for people to understand. When I was watching Dan Henry earlier, we talk a lot about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, why he won the election versus Hillary Clinton, is because Donald Trump talked to in a third and a fourth grade language. Something I'm still working on. Where Hillary, she spoke in a 12th grade education language when she did her speeches. So people didn't understand. So it's easier to go with people with something that you understand. Donald Trump plays on the factor of that. He is one of the best marketers in the world, not for his concepts, not for what stands for. It's the way that he communicates. People can understand that. People can understand the way that he looks, understands that the mindset that he has because of the way that he presents it at a third and fourth grade level. And so the system shows you that this AI legacy blueprint calculator, keeping it simple, having all like you might not even understand how the process works, but what you do understand is where your money is leaking, how much you're overpaying in taxes, the credit moves that raise or lower your score, how to structure your business, how to plan for wealth, and how to stop leaving money on the table, how to transform confusion into clarity, and how to build a legacy that outlives you. My friends, this is the tool that I wish that I had in my 20s when I was in the best part of my life, working with the Chris Bosh Foundation, working with family, being able to have opportunities, networking with people in Toronto, in Dallas, in Detroit, in Atlanta, in Florida, traveling, enjoying the world, even relating with going to the Magic Johnson Foundation events, going to LeBron James's events, going to all of these different things that I went to. I wish I had a tool like this to be able to spread the word of what our future and our finances look like. So now that I'm in my 40s, I've made it a factor of importance that this is the tool your future self will thank you for. This is the tool that I want to get in front of as many people as possible because, again, it's not even about the financial goals that will literally come as you do the work. But the key thing is when you have the understanding of the different inputs, if you understand how revenue, expensive, income, and all of the different parts of your finances work, clarity creates momentum. This is a movement, and the calculator translates things into a way that takes these complex topics and breaks it down like in a Donald Trump way, right? Into a checklist or a way that you can actually remove the guesswork for you to be able to get to the next level. So the system is going to show you how your money is leaking. It's going to show you how much you're overpaying in taxes, how much the credit moves, or the way that you can actually stop leaving money on the table because you're building a brand. And when you build a brand, it's not that you're building alone. I'm building this brand from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? And we're all about Detroit grit. God's grace has brought me exactly where I'm supposed to be here today. And if I learned anything through the actual timing of how life works, how the decisions, the choices that you make, this is for every athlete in the world. Because again, the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the dreamers, the ones that get up every time you fail, every time you have a setback. The setback is a setup for the next move in the plan, God's plan. But you got to trust it. You have to know that when you're actually going through things, that all things are going to come exactly how they're supposed to be. So this one is for you, my friends, my athletes, trying to protect the bag. Being able to know how the legacy hidden tour is going to help you to get better. That's the phrase my business partner came up with in regards to her branding. When you know better, you build better. And you can build together. You don't have to do this alone. So the next step is to choose service. The next step is to actually take action for your actual change in your brand. Register for the blueprint and getting a part of the actual solution, not the problem. Because how we get there is moving, taking action, and learning about these different tools. Because again, this signing up for something that's going to be a part, the next part of you, that's on you. Taking action in regards to showing and being a part of the next 32 days and discovering these different hidden money leaks in your job and your habits and in your life and in your profession, that's why finances is important. And it's for every stage of life. It's not just for athletes, it's for everybody that literally in the world files taxes, right? You file taxes in whatever country that you're in. So I definitely understand that growth takes time. But when you understand that the mission, the availability is to really understanding one day at a time that change is possible, change is a movement, and change is something that you have to believe in every single moment of your day. It's not going to be perfect, but if you choose service over struggle, if you audit your numbers, if you adopt a system that's going to be built for you, catered to you, customized for you, and take control of your money, taking much control of what is most important for you, taking back the money that you're already earning and learning how money works for you. That's what life is about. It's all about making changes and understanding that your legacy deserves structure. The one thing that you're here for, it might not be clear. It might not be exactly step by step, but the solution is right at your fingertips. Your future self is waiting on the decisions that you make today. The mission of creating financial security for long-term community empowerment, that's the mission. That's the mission in one sentence. And hopefully you take action. Register for the AI Legacy Tour. Come show up every 30 of the 32 days. Get involved with the calculator and be a part of something that's going to be true and grow every single day. Hopefully you were able to understand my athletes to transform athletes' money into legacy money, building wealth, and stop leaving money on the table. We can do it together. Let's go. I can. I will. I shall be victorious. What up, though, Detroit, Michigan? Let's go. See you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live at Adrian Mays. Deuces.